Well, on tonight's show, we talk prepping for the inevitable. When is it time for a change? And stress? Who needs it? That's all ahead on the Purple Tie Radio Show. Well, good evening and welcome to the Purple Tie Radio Show. I am your host, Robert Martin, business therapist and entrepreneur.
And I am your co-host, Blake Singleton, the tech guy.
The tech guy. So, let's talk about prepping for the inevitable.
Do tell.
If you're going to be in business, we talked about this earlier today. If you're going to be in business for yourself, you must prep you a place to work.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, you...
is near and dear to my heart.
Well, you have been working out of your house for quite some time now.
You know, it's weird because I started off with a room dedicated to work. It was a room that I had set aside. I just moved into this new townhouse, and it was a room that was pretty much vacant. I didn't have a purpose for it, and I thought, okay, workshop area. I set up a desk. I got, a TV.
Hey, it's just like me in the studio. I got a townhouse with an extra bedroom.
And I'm never gonna have anyone in here.
Never gonna have any more room ever.
But I inevitably had to give up that space for something else, and so now, yeah, now I have to work on my kitchen table or on my bed.
See, that sucks, man. When I first started in business. Well, we all know the story. I worked out of my car there for a while. But when it's
that old hat.
Yeah, well, whenever I finally got a house, hey, you laughed. The roof leaked, and it didn't have a bathroom, but it was a house.
I was about to ask, was that the one that you had to add the bathroom onto the house?
Yeah, it was an old... Yeah, there was places in that floor you didn't walk for fear of falling through. But my first place to work was, that old house, and the shop area and the bathroom were both added on at the same time.
Okay.
And the shop was... two people could pass uncomfortably. So it was about, 15 feet long and like 6 feet wide.
Wow, you could store like 2 bicycles in there.
Yeah, and I had a guy that I had met at work, and he was like, "Man, I want to learn this. I'm gonna be your protege." And I was like, "Dude, my shop's not big enough for a proto, much less a J. What are you talking about?" Oh, yeah. So he comes over and he's like, "Wow, this place is tiny." And I'm like, "Yeah. It's tiny."
You should have seen my last place.
You should. So my last place had 4 doors. But anyway, so we worked in the shop for about, I don't know, probably, oh man, what was it? Maybe 2-3 months, something like that. And I come home and my dad, I had reunited with my father, and there's a whole sappy story that goes along with that I won't bore y'all with. But it's
a good story. Y'all should really hear it sometime.
I'm gonna write a book one day. So anyway, I'd reunited with my father, and I come home one day, and I had a really crappy day at work, and I walk into the living room. Now this is an old house, okay? So it had like a living room, 2 bedrooms, and a kitchen. So it was a 4-room shack.
Yeah.
And it really was a 4-room shack. He had converted the entire living room to a shop.
Wow.
And he was like, "You know what? If you're willing to make a go at this, here you go."
No way. That's awesome.
And I went, holy crap, I want to make a go at this. And, and I did. And I think without that, it wouldn't be the same, But let's talk about prepping for a minute, okay? That's what this whole segment's about. Before you get started, I knew I needed some basic things, right? I knew I needed a computer to work on, preferably more than one, customers' computers and my own computer. But I needed computers to work on, and I needed a printer to be able to print invoices, because this is the back in the day of the dot measure printer. Man, it'd take you 5 minutes to print $100 invoice. It was, man. So, you need a printer. you needed a computer. Back in the day of the fax machine, you needed a fax and a 56K dial-up modem.
Didn't you need a way to charge them their pagers?
Oh man!
How many pagers do you have,
dude? That was. I had 2 pagers, and I upgraded to a bag phone for my car. Man, I was so excited. I got rid of my pager and got.
Nowadays you need spots for like your tablet and your laptop and like 400,000 charger cables and all of that. Back in the day, you needed a bench just for all of your stuff. You needed a bench for that 14-pound notebook that had a 12-inch screen.
Oh yeah,
monochrome.
But it did have a 56K.
It didn't have a 56K
modem in it.
It did not. It didn't have a 56K. No,
sir. Maybe it was a 14.4. I think my first one was a 14.4 laptop.
If it was a K, I would be surprised. I'm surprised it's not like a 96.
It was a compact Armada. It was one of the very first ones to come out with a modem. I was real excited. But
that thing was like 4.5 inches thick.
Well, here's what happened. I upgraded my bag phone, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized I couldn't afford to talk on it, so I had to go back and get a pager so that you could page me, and I could kind of know what you needed before I called you to judge whether or not I could make it from the car or I needed to go in the house.
People don't understand.
Oh yeah.
This day and age, people don't understand how precious minutes used to be.
Look, I had unlimited nights and weekends, right?
So after 7 o'clock.
No, it was 9.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really bad. But 9 o'clock at night, man, 9 o'clock on the dot would hit. And I had a buddy of mine who was opening a computer shop in Mobile, Alabama. And I would go sit in the car and talk to him until like midnight.
What about you could have been inside. Did you have air conditioning in that shack?
Window units.
Window units count? I grew up with window units. In fact, there was a time when I didn't own a window unit.
I had one of those cool little Sears fans where you put one fan blowing in and one fan blowing out. It's like a mini tornado running around you. It was awesome. So,
did you ever have one of those swamp coolers where you had to put ice in front of it?
No, but I did lay in front of a fan with a squirt bottle one time.
That's close enough. Close enough.
Okay. All right. So enough of reminiscing of the olden days. Let's talk about prepping today. Okay. So let's say you're getting started. So what do you need? You need something to work on, a tablet or a computer.
Right.
Hopefully a laptop or a computer, but one
it
of
really
the things
depends. It really depends on what you need to do, though. I mean, a lot of people don't need a full-fledged desktop. A laptop would do, and for the majority of people, an iPad or an Android tablet would be fine.
Let me open this bottle of water.
Or a Windows tablet. That's a nice little in-between, especially if you're used to using Windows and you're used to that ecosystem.
They don't have much of an ecosystem. They got a couple of dams. But anyway, all right, so you need that. But one of the things that you were talking about that I thought was really, really valuable is you need to decide where you're going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a friend of mine. His name's David, and he is a financial advisor. And he was in between jobs, so he started working from home, but he was working in his bedroom.
Yeah, I've actually worked on his setup.
I used to work in my bedroom, and here's what I found. It makes it really difficult to go to sleep. Because the laptop is just right there, and I just need to do this one thing, and, well, while I got it on, why don't I check my email?
See, I can relate to that because I've been working on the kitchen table a lot lately, and whenever it comes time to eat, I'm thinking, I don't want to sit at the table. Because
Where do you want to sit?
Like the couch in the living room or in somewhere else. I just don't like sitting at the table because it reminds me of work.
Anyone needs me, I'll be in the guest bathroom. See, I got one of them upgraded townhouses. I got a guest bathroom. So the doors are real narrow, though. We had that conversation. So you need a laptop or a computer, something to work on. But you also need a printer because you're going to have to print out stuff.
Right.
Now you got to decide whether you want color, black and white, and all that stuff.
People in this day and age don't necessarily think of printers as a necessity anymore.
Oh, side tangent.
Yay!
I went to
first one.
I know,
maybe
right?
second.
Really,
I don't know.
We're only 10 minutes in. This could be a long episode. So went to Staples today, and before going to Staples.
I wish I could see his face. It's so just twisted in anger.
I looked online, and they had a case of Hammer Mill paper for $19.99. I was like, that's a hell of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and grab one, you know?
Yep.
And we'll talk about this. I'm moving offices. This is episode second. It's the, you know what, we'll get to it. So anyway, I go into Staples. I get this ream of paper. Well, not ream. I get this case of paper. Yeah. And carry it up to the counter. And I got, $20. And I'm thinking, hey, man, this is good. And it rings up $60.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. See, online, it's $19.95. Get this. Okay, tell me this makes sense. They said, well, if you'd have bought it online and come in the store and picked it up.
What would have happened?
I could have had it for the $20.
But
if I go in the store and buy it, it's $60 with a mail-in rebate.
That's ridiculous.
It's dumb. It's dumb to dumb. That's what it is.
It sort of sounds like...
It pisses me off. It's like, hey, I got to pay for these employees, so pay me $60.
No, it sort of sounds like they are banking on the fact that people just won't send in that mail-in rebate.
I got to be honest. If I didn't have a lady that did that, I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd forget about it because I'm forgetful.
Well,
and you're worse than me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't burn breakfast.
Well, do I cook breakfast?
Well, somebody has to. So
anyway, but you need a spot to work. You need a spot to work, something to work on.
I'm gonna say a dirty word. You need a fax machine.
No, you don't.
I hate fax machines.
You don't need a fax machine. No one on earth needs a fax machine.
You need a scanner and learn to convert it to PDF and email it. And if somebody says, "But I don't have email," you need to not do business because guess what? They probably don't have a checking account, and they damn sure don't know how to write a check.
No, but I bet you they got cash because that's all that they know about.
Oh, man, it makes me so mad. We had one doctor that we had to fax to. Finally, I decided that $9 a month to mail them a 49-cent invoice.
Yeah.
Because I can mail it for 49 cents through the U.S. Postal Service.
Let me just straighten out the spaghetti strand that you've been weaving all over the place. You're paying $9 a month for a fax service because you didn't have a fax machine.
I don't want a fax machine.
And you've had this fax service for years now. And it was
for this one
client. So
I finally just started sending their invoice by the mailman. I'd rather wait the extra week to get my money than pay $9 for a useless service that I use one time a month.
Right. There's no reason for it.
It's dumb. So don't buy a fax machine. Comfortable office chair. That is a must.
Yes, 100%. And you know what? Do not skimp on it. If it costs $200 or $300,
go sit in it. Go sit in it before you buy it. Make sure your butt is comfortable because you're probably going to be in it a while.
Don't sit in it for 1 minute and think, okay, this is the perfect chair forever. Sit in it for 5 or 10 minutes.
Look, text your BFF or whatever, but sit your butt in it for a little bit. Make sure it's comfortable. Also, desk space.
Yes.
Make sure that you have some place to work that you can get up and leave. Mm-hmm. See, that was my big thing. Work engulfed my house at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got to get out of this. I was like, I got to get out of this. And, so the studio has kind of spilled over because I was doing some interviews. If you've listened to my previous stuff, you know that I've done interviews in the past. And I have stuff at my office and stuff scattered all over,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had to say enough is enough. Whoa, And I've even gone as far as, wondering if I wouldn't be better, setting the studio up at my office.
Your new
office is pretty sweet.
Your new office is too large to do a decent studio because
so
even
you're telling, oh yeah, it'd be real echoey.
Even in this space, it's echoey a little bit.
I'm gonna have to hang panels on top of panels at the new place.
You'd have to wrap your recording equipment in like a blanket.
Not bubble wrap.
There's that doorknob again.
You know, I'm not even going there. I don't know what it is about you and that doorknob, but you mess with that thing every week.
My wrist gets it every week.
Every single week. I'm going to have to... we need a bigger studio. I just upgraded office. Now we need a bigger studio. So, speaking of... bigger offices, let's take some time to thank one of our sponsors.
Sounds good.
Which is something we haven't done before, but I'm really excited about this.
Trying something new.
So, Fave Geek in Decatur, Alabama is your place to go for all things tech, all things techie, iPhone repair, iPad repair, computer repair, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, my God, you name it, they can fix it and get you back where you belong. Fave Geek in Decatur, Alabama. The number is 256-260-4335. And they want to be your favorite geek. So that was kind of cool. I enjoyed doing that. So let's talk about time to make a move. When is it time to say, you know what, it is time to make a move? It is time to do something different. How did I write that down? How did I word that? When is it time for a change? So maybe you've been working in that great home office that we talked about, and you decide, maybe it's time for a change.
Well, yours was sort of forced.
Mine was very forced.
Do you want to give any background on that?
Okay, so I hate everyone and everything about it. But okay, so
you got a great deal out of it.
My new office is beautiful. So my old office was a stuffy little place. It was good for, a couple people. I had a, nice leather sofa and a little conference table, and it was nice. I had a little mini fridge.
It was quaint.
It was okay, but it was like
definitely
you walked
an
into
office.
Any other office.
Yeah, it was definitely an office.
Harsh lighting,
it had the drop ceiling.
The drop ceiling. It was awful.
Yeah. And the only thing I can say that set apart your office from other offices that I'd seen
the
is
concrete walls.
No. That's terrible. No. You have a love seat across from your desk instead of two chairs, and I think that's really cool. And your conference table is a repurposed glass kitchen table.
It's a black glass and chrome, and everybody's like, I love this conference table. I don't know where you found it. And I was like, because it wasn't a conference table.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you that. Now,
but see, I think that's really important, though. Whenever you go to make your change, you should really think outside the box whenever it comes to furnishing your new place. Definitely reuse the stuff that you can. But if you need new stuff, go out and get it.
Okay. So, all right. In all fairness, I need a new conference table. My new office
too small.
Swallowed this conference table. I mean, it looks like
a Barbie
space,
doll.
Right? It looks like a Barbie doll house now.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
So it's not that bad. I didn't double office space. I went from about 350 square feet to 575 square feet. I mean,
almost.
It's substantial, though. And,
almost.
It's got, the industrial ceilings where you can see, all the architecture and the beamwork.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's got
track lighting.
It's got some recessed lighting.
It does. It's got and
it has an amazing air conditioning unit.
Oh man, dude, that thing kicked on today and about froze me to death. And I went out and looked in the because the thermostat is in the hallway.
Yeah.
Which in my office before, it was in the office beside mine, which was controlled by someone else, which really pissed me off because I couldn't control my own air conditioner. So if they were hot, I was cold. And if they were cold, I was hot. So, but this one, the thermostat's in the hallway, which makes so much more sense. So I went over and bumped it up to 73 because I was freaking cold.
Right. And you can do that.
And it was only set to 72.
Yeah.
And I was cold. So, but it was time for a change. And here's why it was a time for a change. You know, as we built the purple tie, and the purple tie is about, 8 months into its time frame now as you chug a bottle of water over there. So it's like 8 months.
I really think I'm dehydrated. I don't know what the heck's going on.
I'm so thirsty.
I'm so thirsty.
So anyway, you know, we're about 8 months into our infancy stage of business.
Yeah, it's not quite a year.
I just bit my tongue. That's why I couldn't say that.
It's almost 9 months old.
So it's 9 months old. Oh God!
Side tangent. I felt it coming.
There was this lady that was like, he'll be 19 months old next month, and I'm like, you can stop counting months now. He's over a year.
He's over a year. Yeah.
You can't be. He's 11 months. No.
I love these people that are like, oh, he's 36 months old.
Oh my God.
That's 3 years. He's 3 years old.
Yeah, 3. 3. I don't. So
anyway,
side tangent. But anyway, so we're about 8 months in, and you know, I hadn't ever needed enough room for me and you to work on the purple tie at the same time in the same office. You know, you would do it remotely from home, and I would do it from the office, and it's always been kind of this, telecommute type thing, you know, and.
Or if I did need to come in, it was, hey, I want to take up one of the spots at the conference table.
Yeah, you used the conference table, which was really, okay, it wasn't inconvenient for me, but you didn't like it, number one.
Well, those chairs aren't made for sitting for 8 hours. They're really not.
Man.
They're not.
You want to complain about my chairs, really?
No, I'm not complaining about your chairs.
You just did. No, you hush.
Your chairs are fine for short periods of time.
I'm going to flip the switch. So you in this office have, okay, so the new office has, you know, my desk with the love seat set up, and, you know, so I can still do the small business counseling that I've been doing, but we have moved the conference table in. We have a TV up on the wall, and, you know, you have a place to work, and it's just so much better having room.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. I don't have to.
I have an elbow. I mean, I feel like I'm not. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, I don't. Unless you've been in your office, it's hard to describe exactly how close quarters everything was, because there was about 18 inches between the love seat and your desk, the front of your desk.
Yeah, now it's like 24 inches or so, and you're like, I think it's too far. And
well,
like,
it just feels like
it. Right.
But you didn't have any room behind your desk.
No,
you know?
I would bump the wall. If I leaned back, I'd bump the wall. This one, I can move, and I'm fine, you know, and it's just so much better. And we'll throw some pictures up online. It's really, really, it's so much better than our old office.
Yeah.
And I think it'll give us room to grow, to bring in, at some point, Jacob, the highly unpaid intern, and which he would be totally excited about. I think we're going to put him in the closet with the air conditioner.
That's what we need to do.
And there with the dustpan and broom.
He needs to go into the utility closet. Sure does.
Sure does. Jacob, you have your own office. Congratulations.
But when do you decide? Like, what catalyst causes you to say, okay, it's time for me to get a new space? Okay, I have run out of room.
Let's talk about this for a minute. So, originally I was working out of my house.
Right.
Okay. And the catalyst for that was I need a place to meet people that's not my house.
Yeah, that's not Starbucks either.
That's not Starbucks. Yeah, Starbucks was in my office for a long time. So anyway, okay, and then I say so anyway. I'm trying to be better about that. Need a little taser set up. So anyway, I was at Starbucks for the longest, and you know I was at. I had an office inside Fave Geek.
Yes.
And they come in and said,
the retail store.
Yeah, and they said, hey, there's no room in the inn for you anymore. Get out. And I went, where am I supposed to go? And they're like, I don't care. Get out.
Well, there were lots of reasons.
Well, they needed storage and all this other stuff. And it was just better. You know, I would have meetings and I didn't have a door on my office. So it was weird. So I went around and looked at office space and I found a place in Progress Bank, which is in downtown Decatur. It's a fairly nice building. And I moved in, and that office was perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. I had a little conference table. I had a little love seat. I had a little desk. I had a little coffee maker. It was perfect.
It was good.
And then the purple tile happened. And then suddenly you had to come work in the office.
Well, I didn't have a spot.
And then it started becoming cramped because I would have a counseling session in.
Right.
You would need to be working. Or I would, you know, it just, I mean, I went and bought a 8-foot tall storage shelf because I ran out of room.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish you guys could have seen,
horrible.
I wish you guys could have seen my Tetris skills with the vertical filing cabinet.
Dude, I could totally hear the little dum, 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 dum.
Because I had all the stuff that's on this 8-foot tall shelf in 2 drawers of a filing cabinet and strategically stacked on top.
Totally packed in there.
That thing had to have weighed 600 pounds.
So, all right. So my point in saying, okay, you know what, it is time for a change is when I had meetings in there and then you would come in and you couldn't set up on the conference table because I had a meeting coming. And you couldn't really set up on my desk because all my stuff was there. And so we needed the space, and the landlord comes to me and says, hey, your rent's going up this month because your lease is up. And I went, well, crap, what if I renegotiate? And they're like, well, yeah, if you renegotiate, it'll still go up a little, but we're going to make it work for you. And I was like, okay, if my rent is going up, I want the ceiling out. I
want you guys to really pay attention to this because this is what we call the Robert Martin tactics. And it doesn't work for everyone. You've got to have the swagger because you need it to negotiate.
The swagger like Mick Jagger. So anyway, I was like, you got to take the ceiling out. And they were like, no. And I was like, well, there's an office across the hall that's already got the ceiling out. You wouldn't have to do any work over there. Yeah, but that office is so much bigger than yours. And I was like, okay, so how much are we going up? And we were going up to... we'll just round off numbers and pretend that these are correct because I really don't want to tell anyone what I pay for my office.
Well, they were going to go up like $100 on your rent.
They were going to go up $100.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll take the bigger office for the $100. And they were like, no, see, it don't work that way. And I was like, well, what if I pay you $100 the first year and then $200 more the second year and then $100 and then $50 more the next year? And they were like, well, I think that'll work. And I was like, oh, by the way, it's going to take me a month to move in, which we moved in today, during one day. I was like, you're going to take me a month to move in and get everything set up and ready to go. And he's like, yeah, we'll give you first month. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First month is free, and then we're going to do 100 and then 125, and then it's going to go up another 25 on the third year. And I'm thinking,
they just lost money.
You just lost money. You just, okay. All right, so they send the lease over, and it's miswritten, right? It's only 100 the first month, which is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
125 the next year,
right?
And then
25 more
the third year. And I'm like, this is all jacked up, but you know what? Robert Martin. And I sent it back to them. I was like, here we go, and they were like, okay, thanks, enjoy your space. And I thought, wow, I just did that. So here's my thing. I can do math in my head.
Yeah, if you guys are going to negotiate,
really quick.
If you guys are going to negotiate with a realtor or a landlord or something like that,
bring a calculator.
No, you got to be better than a calculator. You got to be able to do that stuff on the fly.
Well, and that's why I get the deals that I do is because I can do it in my head.
You just talk the money around them. You talk it around them until they get confused or
well,
they
see, here's
can't
the
follow.
thing. Here's what the issue is, and God, if they listen to this show, I'm so sorry. My opinions are, well, they're pretty valid right now. So if you talk around, it's like dangling a carrot. Like they want the carrot, and all they can see is the carrot that they're about to get.
Right.
But they don't realize that as you're dangling it around, you're taking a little more and a little more away. They're still focused on that carrot.
Right.
And so that's what you got to do. You got to give them, you got to show them what they want, and then just take a little away every time you dangle it around them until you got what you want. Because if you do the math, I got that place for exactly what I wanted to pay. Same way whenever I moved into it the first time, I got the first and last month's rent free.
Right.
So I got it for exactly what I wanted to pay for it anyway, because by the time you took the first and last month's rent off and redid all the calculations, the money per square foot was exactly what I was willing to pay.
Yep.
And I think this time it's within $1. last time I actually made money on the deal, but this time it was within $1. So my real aha moment of I got to do something, I got to move is, hey, we're going to jack your rent. Blake needs a place to work. We got to do something.
Yeah, and if you're working out of your house and you've got a dedicated spot inside your house to work, that's great. Keep that spot for yourself. Don't let it spill over into your bedroom or into your living room or into your kitchen or anything like that, because the minute it does, it takes over everything. And you don't...
I was real bad about bringing work home.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah, I still am.
So since I interrupted you there, let's take another brief moment to thank one of our sponsors. And this one's very near and dear to my heart.
I'll bet.
So, guys, the Purple Tie radio show, if you don't know, the Purple Tie actually exists. There is a for real company called the Purple Tie, and we are your small business success partner. We provide strategic planning. We provide marketing, advertising, traditional marketing, online marketing. It doesn't matter. If you want to get your name out and known, we're the guys to do it. So check us out on the web, www.thepurpletie.org/services. That'll give you a list of everything that we do. We would greatly appreciate it if you would show your support for the Purple Tie and for this show.
That reminds me, we didn't give Fave Geek's website a shout.
Oh, I am so sorry.
It's favegeek.com. It's FAVgeek.com.
Yes, drop the E in Fave because they are too cool to have an E.
Too cool for school.
Oh, man. That's bad. I should tell a story about how we did that. So, the next thing that I want to talk about is stress and who needs it. God, this week has been so stressful.
Yeah, it has been.
Oh, man. You want to talk about being stressed out? My Google Calendar. Thank you, Google, or Alphabet Soup, or whatever you are. My Google Alphabet Calendar took a dump. Serious? No, I'm serious. I'm looking through and I know I've got appointments coming up, right?
Sure.
And I can't find them. And I'm like, I know I put that in there.
Well, they were showing up on my calendar.
I'm not dumb enough to I'm not that dumb. Surely I put that in there.
Yeah, that's
so I got
me,
to
though.
looking and Google had taken a dump. They had dumped like, I don't know, a third of my appointments.
Well, they were showing up on mine.
Well, no, because remember the one for
The meeting that you had for
Beck's Bites.
Yeah, Beck's Bites.
Wasn't showing up on mine. It was just gone. I was like, hey, well, I know we got a meeting with Beck's Bites, Beck's Bites next week, but I don't know when it is. So I ended up emailing her, and I was like, I am so sorry. And before I thought about it, I was like, my Google Calendar took a dump. And it, you know, and she's like, oh, that's okay. We have a meeting on the 31st at this time. Really super duper sweet lady. She's just really nice. And, but I've been so stressed out between trying to negotiate this move and, you know, Fave Geek is at this. If this iPhone screen scare or whatever it is, scarcity or, you know, shortage or whatever you want to call it, if it doesn't kill us, it's going to make us stronger. But I am pretty sure it may kill us.
Well, it's really jacked up prices right now, right?
Well, okay, so here's the issue. Number one, it's jacked up prices. Number two, half your wholesalers have gone out of business because they can't get stock.
How long has this been going on?
I want to say it's been about, I don't know, a month and a half.
Shoot.
So, like, you can buy the really crappy screens, right?
Right.
But I'm not putting that on someone's phone. I mean,
it's just going to break in 2 weeks, and you're going to have to replace it
okay,
anyway.
I'm not putting Coca-Cola glass, like old Coke bottle glass, on somebody's phone.
Yeah.
That's going to chip or break or crack, and they're going to be unhappy with it. Not doing that. So I want the A+ stuff, and the only thing you can buy right now is like the C+ stuff or something, which is like 3 grades below or whatever. Okay, I will be real honest. I don't work in the store a lot. I don't understand all the terminology. I just know that we're in a pickle. And it's just the 5 screens right now. It's just... And everybody's doing it. Yeah. Every phone repair shop. And I tell you what this is going to do. You know, we talked last week about devaluing the market.
Yeah.
And what a horrible, horrible idea it was. So what this is going to do is some of these guys that were like, hey, guess what? I'll fix your iPhone 5C for $55. Meet me at Starbucks.
I'll do it while you walk.
I'll do it while you... Oh, my God. Really? And then I almost repeated it. Shame on you. Bleep. So, anyway... it's going to put them out of business is what's going to happen. Well, not that they're in business. It's going to put them out of hobby is what it's going to do.
It's going to stop them from doing it.
Well, I'm going to repair your iPhone for $55. Well, guess what? The screen costs that now.
Yep.
So now what you going to do it for?
Mm-hmm.
And, and yes, I'm very passionate about this, and this angers me. So if you were one of those guys that fixes iPhones on the side, I'm sorry if I piss you off. I don't mean to. But get out of my corner. Damn. So anyway.
That's 2 bleeps.
It may be 3. I'm very aggravated this show. I don't know what's going on. I'm just ready to... Me and this microphone's about to wrestle. Oh my God. So anyway, see, there I go again. So anyway.
Just the rest of the show.
So what's going to happen is it's going to hurt these little guys. And what the other thing that is going to really help the industry, I believe it's going to help the industry, is AT&T, Verizon, all these guys. They're no longer subsidizing phones.
They aren't?
No, sir. They got that new Next plan. You go in there and you tell them what phone you want. They put it on your bill, but you pay full price for it. So an iPhone costs you $800. So now, whenever you get, Toothless Wonder in the shop, that's like, well, I only paid $200 for the whole dang phone. And you want to charge me that to fix the screen. I put some packing tape on it and be done. You know it's true. You've seen packing tape on a phone. So anyway,
that's fine. Whenever they come in, and the tip of their finger sliced off because they decided that packing tape was good enough.
So it's going to stop that whenever they're, well, I only paid $299 for the whole. No, you didn't. You got it subsidized. So what's going to happen is these people's going to realize, holy crap, I paid $800 for a phone, and I'm going to let some jackhole fix it at Starbucks for $55. Heck no, I'm going to go somewhere that I can find them if it ain't right. That's the thing about faith. If it's not right, you know where to find them.
That's true.
Just walk. And if you guys haven't figured this out yet, our sponsors are my businesses. And because they bought all
this. They pay for the show.
They pay for the show. Yes, they do. Well, I don't have any other income. So, but, oh my God. So
you don't fix bicycles on the side?
No, man, not since I was like 12. So
at Starbucks?
I have been so stressed this week with, like I said, the move and iPhone screens being messed up and janked up and, the Chinese government and all this stuff, and the stock market is going stupid. I've lost half my money. Half of what I had invested, gone.
Twitter's down to what they were when they IPO'd originally.
Okay. There is a country somewhere, and I'm wanting to say it's Venezuela. You look this up on your fancy dandy iPad. There is some country somewhere that money is so worthless, they're actually using it as napkins. That is the news article. Their money is so worthless, they are using it as napkins. Now, if my man Donald Trump happens to
you were right. It was Venezuela.
Was it Venezuela? Wow, look at me. I am smart today. So if my man Donald Trump gets in there, I look for some changes to take place. But yeah, the stock market's down. I mean, it's just been a very stressful week this week.
I was reading. Which proves that, okay, folks, you know why he doesn't chew bubblegum during this show? Because it's physically impossible. I couldn't do it.
He can't do it. He just can't. So he can't read and talk at the same time either. So it was Venezuela that the money is basically worthless. And, I mean, it's just a stressful week. So how do you deal with stress?
I like to disconnect from work in a number of ways. TV and...
You drive me nuts.
Why?
Because you're all work-life balance. And I'm like, it's not work-life. It's just life. You know,
well, I've been trying to live it more like that.
My businesses pay for my life, you know? And it's one of the, and that's the way I've been trying to look at it, because I was looking at it as work life, you know, and I need to leave work at work. I need to leave, you know, life at home. And it made me just this incredibly stressed out anger monster.
Well, we've talked about it. You do need to have a separation of
church and state.
That too. Yes, please. But you need to have a separation of where you work versus where you live, because if you work where you live, especially when it's someplace like your bedroom or your kitchen.
I just knew you were going to say Starbucks. I'm like, hey.
No, that's your third place.
I only slept in that bathroom once. Thank you very much.
But, yeah, I've been trying to live it more like it's just life. It's not like work-life balance. But I have a couple of different ways that I like to disconnect and just relax. I love movies, love TV, but I really, really love video games and board games.
I like anything. You can type in anything fail on YouTube, and I will watch it for like an hour.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, yeah.
Fail.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, you'll get those 4-minute clips where it's the compilation, and then YouTube will say, oh, then you must like this, and it starts automatically, and you'll watch that, and then over and over and over.
Hey, I got one on there the other day that was an hour long. I was so excited. I was like, wow, that's like a little mini-series right there.
I'll tell you what I've been watching recently that I really love, that really takes me out of stress. There's a series on IGN called History of Awesome, and they started in 1977, and they're taking pop culture icons from the years and discussing them. It's basically like, it's 4 guys or girls, whatever they happen to have on the show that day, talking about all the stuff that they like from that era, and they have subjects like, I don't remember the years, but they had like the Ninja Turtles whenever the comic book came out, and they had Pac-Man and Pong and the first Atari and the first computer to use 2 discs instead of 1.
Did you know the Atari never had memory? Isn't that sad?
Well, they wouldn't know.
Oh, boom. Yeah. So, I seen a little cartoon drawing, and it was like the N64 and the Sega Genesis and something else, and then the Atari 2600. And they're like, remember when we were popular? Remember when the kids loved us? Remember when this? And remember when that? And the Atari 2600 was like, I have no memory. I was like, that's good. That's good humor right there.
You know, I pitched the idea of retro coming around and being a topic for tonight's radio show, and I didn't think that you had even heard me, but yeah, there you go.
Sometimes I'll listen.
I don't believe you.
I mean, every once in a while. So I haven't in a while, I used to race RC a lot. My issue with RC is I found that I really like RC. I like working on the cars. I like, gluing the tires and, playing with all the, the shocks and, the sway bars and all that. It's just like it's like a real race car, only smaller.
You're right.
I just didn't like being there all freaking day.
Yeah, and you only getting to race.
You would start at, oh my God, o'clock and race till whenever.
Oh my God, o'clock, yeah.
And you race like 4 times, and it just, and then you had the people. Like, you had the really awesome people. You had the really awesome people. And then you had the people that didn't have teeth. And there was no in between. Like, you were either totally awesome and an engineer, or you were married to your cousin.
See, I remember going to one of the big races with you, and it wasn't noon yet, and there were drunk people there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, there was a guy.
I mean, we're not talking about, okay.
Dude was walking around with a Miller Lite or a Bud Light or something. He's like, hey, I got these in the cooler if you want one. I'm like, dude, it's noon.
Yeah, if that. But see, what I want you guys to understand is we're not talking about a bunch of middle-aged men out in the middle of nowhere doing this. They're in the middle of the city. There's children around. It's a family environment.
One of these places, 14-foot trailer to haul home whenever you're done.
Yeah, it's dual axle. It's got 8 tires on it.
They take the RC in serious down here.
It's almost as serious as the football.
Oh my God, football season's coming up. So, my de-stressfulness is I don't know. I don't know what I bought a bike, and I'm thinking about, going out and just having a leisurely stroll on my bike to forget about the stresses of the workday. But there are a lot of stresses, and people that put you under stress, sometimes they don't even know they do it.
Yeah.
They do it okay, so I have a client who will remain nameless.
Okay.
Consistently, I'm broke, can't do this, can't do that. Ups and cancels on me.
Right.
And I'm like, really? With less than 24 hours to the appointment. Well, okay, I had already reworked my gym schedule and everything else. And then they up and canceled.
Was she paying for?
No, that's even worse.
She hadn't paid for any of this?
No. See, now, here's what I'm curious about. Doctors, they have the 24-hour cancellation policy, and all that good kind of stuff. But what's the penalty?
Right.
I mean, you can't really charge them. They don't have. It's not like you've got a card on file or
if
something.
If they come back, though, you just have it on file.
You're gonna eat it because you're gonna eat it because you want that business. Just like whenever we have people that don't pay Fave Geek for 6 months. Suddenly something breaks and they're like, we need some help. And we're like, well, we need you to pay your bill. And they're like, oh my God, do we owe you?
You owe us 6 months worth of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you owe me.
It's always like that. It is really, you want to talk about stress. Whenever you're a technician and you don't know that they owe money and you're on your way to the service call that you've already scheduled and somebody says, oh, by the way, they owe 6 months worth. You need to get a check while you're there. That's stress.
Crap happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying, you don't know what you're going to run into on any given day, and you have to have ways to deal with it.
I'm hoping that this new office helps with my stress level. I think it will.
I think it will too.
So let's talk about one other thing that's kind of stressful, kind of not stressful, could be stressful. Something that you had a discussion about earlier this week, and that is privacy in the workplace.
Okay.
Do you get it? Do you not get it? So here's my rule of thumb. Within reason, when you're at work, you are at work to work. If you're, and I know, okay, so I went to the Walmart. People, please don't hold that against me. I went to the Walmart the other day, and there was a cart pusher. And it was 190 degrees outside, and he stopped and was talking to somebody, right?
Right.
Now, I'm not the kind of boss that'd be like, dang it, I pay you to push carts. You better be pushing carts from the time you get here till the time you get home. I want you pushing carts. We better have so many carts that you ain't got time to push them all. I'm not that guy. You can take a break. I understand it's hot outside. Catch you a break, get some water, that sort of thing. But is there a balance of, like for you, and for me, and pretty much everyone that works for me, y'all all sit behind the computer.
Right.
Okay, so it's real easy to be like, I'm drawing something in Illustrator and on Facebook and on Pandora. And, and I'm chatting with my mama over here in the corner. But it's real easy to be doing, 4 or 5 different things. At what point do you say I deserve a little bit of privacy? Because where you've worked in the past, you work, you do what you're told to, you draw a paycheck, and you go home.
Well, you're actually the first place that I've ever worked that I had a computer. So this is the first place that
Hear that? The tech guy didn't get a computer till he met me.
Well, I had computers. It just didn't have a job that had a computer. But
closest thing he came to a computer was one of them punching clocks.
No, I had one of them electric typewriters that had 3 lines of word.
You were really impressed about that the other day too. You were like, I had one of them electric typewriters.
But I guess you could equate it to standing around and talking, BSing with other employees and such.
Here's what I equate it to. I equate it to the good old fashioned trip to the water cooler.
Okay.
Where you're going to stand around and talk to Dave about Cynthia, who's wearing a super short skirt this week, and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to stand there for 10 minutes and talk to him because he's your buddy and he's your pal. And, do you get ticked at that? Do you say, hey, y'all need to go back to work or bring your computer to the water table, water
cooler?
Water barrel.
I guess it really depends on how long they stand there and jackjaw, because whenever
you're from North Carolina, ain't you?
I am from North Carolina.
I heard that term, jackjaw. Do you know Winston-Salem is one of the top 5 cities not to do business in?
It doesn't surprise me.
As a small business?
It's
very difficult.
It's a crap hole.
That in Buffalo, New York. I don't know what they got. It's crap. It's crapple.
It's crapple. But I guess it really depends on how long they stand around and do that, because as we all know, you have to give everyone a mandatory 15-minute break and a 30-minute lunch, and I think it's 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch.
You sound like Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm gonna keep these quarters for myself, and y'all are gonna work on Christmas Day, and I'm gonna be at home. That's not the way it works. I mean, we treat our employees very well.
I was not talking about our employees, though. I was talking about, Dave talking about Cynthia with you at the water cooler.
That was a metaphor.
I know. I'm just giving you an example.
I just want to make sure you know that wasn't real.
Wait, we don't have a Dave that works for us?
No, we don't.
No wonder I'd never heard of Cynthia. Anyway, but, at some point it becomes wasting time. There are certain times during the day
but
whenever
you need to get up and
say,
take a break.
Yes,
from the work.
There are times whenever you have to get up and walk away, just because you've hit that point, and everybody's been there. You're working on a problem, or you're trying to fix something, or you're trying to make something, and you just keep hitting that wall over and over and over again. And if you just keep punching at the wall, trying to get it to break, eventually you just stop caring. So you need to get up and walk away.
That wall might break.
It might eventually, but it's more likely to break if you step away from it and come back and look at it with fresh eyes.
Here's what I've watched you do several times. You've been pounding away at some website. That was really bad. You've been working really hard at a website, and you can't figure out one little piece of code or something, and you're just like, screw it, I'm done. I'm going to play this video game, and I'm going to just, God, I hate everything. And then you come back like 30 minutes later, and you're like, oh, well, I was stupid.
Right. It was just something stupid that I'd overlooked because I'd been staring at it for 4 hours or whatever.
Well, here's the one thing that I'm a little annoyed about, because, we hung my whiteboard in the office. Well, I say my whiteboard. I guess it's our whiteboard now that you're sharing that office.
Do I get used to the conference table?
No, that's my conference table. So, but we hung the whiteboard, and you're like, that looks crooked. And I'm like, we put a level on it. And you're like, that looks crooked. And so you take the level and you put it on there and you're like, well, it says it's level, but it don't look level. I'm like, look, it's probably the wall. It's a 6-story building. Not everything can be perfectly straight. I'm betting the wall is not level. And you went, seriously? Yeah, seriously. And you laid the level on it and you were like, holy crap.
Yeah,
that wall's not...
It was way off, too.
That wall's like an inch off over here. But you can't see it architecturally. Even new houses. When they build new houses right now, most walls are not straight. Because you got humans doing it.
We need to hire some robots.
Robots? You know, Eli has one of our employees has a he's so deathly afraid of self-replicating robots. And
Right.
we're so close to them.
We are.
I mean, I don't know if you know that or not, but we're really close to them.
No,
I was
wanna bring
really
one of
hoping those
that-
little Honda robots in just to freak them out one time. Be like, Eli, meet your new
Awesome.
workmate. You know? Oh my God.
See, I was really hoping that you wanted to talk about some tech today because I got some weird stuff to talk about, like Google's scanning people's roofs to see who gets the most sunlight to see if they're eligible for free solar panels.
Really?
Yeah, it's only in a couple of cities right now, but they're talking about rolling it out
Dude, that'd
nationwide.
be awesome.
And then they also
the sun sets right over my roof.
and then
Just like
DARPA
everybody else.
DARPA has also created a robot that you can't push over, like it can't lose its
Wait,
balance.
DARPA, isn't that the one that's competing with Google with the driverless car? Or no, that's Delphi.
That's Delphi. DARPA is the one that they tried to make robots that could traverse terrain that they didn't have any drivers, and they could get to point A to point B without any human interaction.
What happens if there's something in the way?
They are supposed to be able to be smart enough to go around it. Or get through it. Yeah.
Get through it?
Yeah. Like if it's
What
a
if
diesel.
it's me? I'm not, no, I'm not okay with that. I'm really not okay with that. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. That's a Quake. I think that's a Quake 2 thing for you right there. Love that game. My God, I hate Quake 2 servers. Okay, so we're getting off on tangent. So tech, the robot, the solar panels would be awesome.
Yeah. It's called, oh, God, that hurt like crazy. It's called Project Sunroof.
I didn't see the microphone.
It was the desk. I didn't see the desk.
How can you miss it?
But it's called Google's Project Sunroof. That's what they've got it under. Yep.
Wow.
And they're rolling out
I want
fiber
free solar
everywhere.
panels. That's what I want. Free solar panels.
Maybe I misread that.
Hey,
but I'm
as
really
much
thinking that it said free.
sunlight as comes in the windows of my new office, it's yeah, wow.
Yeah, they were saying that that it's something like 1 trillion watts of free energy are pumped out each year, or something like that.
You know what's not free?
What's that?
The time in the show.
Oh,
We are all out of time. So if you found the content of this show encouraging or enlightening, we would encourage you to follow us on Twitter at The Purple Tie Co. Head on over to Facebook, facebook.com/The Purple Tie. Give us a big thumbs up. We don't normally throw that one out, so we would definitely appreciate it. Also on the web at www.thepurpletie.org. Remember, all of our contact information is over there. And no matter what you do this week, ask yourself, what are you doing to earn your purple tie?
good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all. Don't be creepy.